Going to get started. Yay! All right, you guys. So, welcome to our first week of Science of Getting Rich. This is our book club, if you want to call it that. I actually started this back in, I think the idea came to me in July. And actually, we got started in August. That's when it was. So, the idea came to me in July to do a book club and to do it with my offer to my diamonds and above that were on my team. This book had popped into my mind, and so I listened when God speaks. I listen, and so for those of you that are a diamond or above, and you've heard this the first time, or maybe even the second month that I did it, which was open to anybody, and there were about 10 or so people that chose to pop on for that 5-week period. If some of them are on here again as well too, which is fabulous. And then of course you guys hear my third wave, and I'm going to keep doing this. But every time you're going to hear some of the basic stuff that I'm going to talk about, but you're going to hear other things. So if you've been on here before and you're like, oh my gosh, I've already went over chapter 1 through 3, I'm going to do this, whatever, pay attention and some whatnot. I'm going to be real straightforward and upfront and honest with you. Anytime that I speak, whether it's on a platform like this, in front of people, one-on-one, a party, a massive training, I always ask God to put the words in my mouth. I don't know. I know my content. Like, I've read this book like 20 plus times, listened to the audio a gazillion times in the car. So I know the content, but I don't know what's going to come through. And that is based off of you guys, your energy, that's why I like to see you, because then obviously looking at a black screen that says Samsung does me no good, right? But when I can see your facial expressions, or I can feel your vibes, right? That kind of changes things on what I say. Sometimes, not always. And you'll hear me say a lot of times throughout the next 5 weeks as well too, yep, this is just what's coming out. So somebody needed to hear it. It may not be for you. I'm going to do my disclaimer. Nothing is directed at you as judgment or misjudgment, or that you're doing something wrong or right or inappropriate or not, or that you're worthless or not good enough or the best in the world or anything in between. There's my disclaimer. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth other than I know that it's what God's putting into my mouth that somebody needs to hear, okay? And it may be all of you need to hear it, right? Or maybe I need to hear it for myself. I don't know. I just always say, God, you put the words into my mouth. I'm going to teach and train, and that's it. Stories come out, different things pop into my head. The other week I was talking, it was the last week, and I was talking about a toe. Somebody's toe that was hurt, and I could help heal their toe. Just a random analogy I was given to Dean. And come to find out, I text Jess. I'm like, hey, girl, I know you had to pop off the Zoom or whatever. Hope everything's okay. And she's like, yeah, Brooklyn broke her toe. And I'm like, okay, I just talked about the toe. Did you hear the toe? She goes, no, I wasn't on for that part. And I'm like, well, okay, that's weird, right? But that's just God, right? Just those random little things like that. Okay, so let me just give you a little tidbit on that. Those little synchronicities, or those little coincidences, or those little serendipitous moments like that, that's just God saying, hey, you're in the flow. Things are flowing. Things are grooving. People are tapped in, tuned in, turned on. And you're also going to hear me through this reference lots of other things, because I am a reader. I've been reading not forever, but I've been reading for a really long time. And so I've been attending a lot of trainings and events. And so I have a knowledge base from all these books I've read and all these people that I've learned from, sometimes they'll just drop in and come out, and I can make analogies. And of course, then my own personal experiences. I share lots of stories about my kids or my team or past people that I've worked with, or Brent, he's sitting over here in bed just chilling. It's our 20-year anniversary today. Whoop, whoop. So we went to a BNI social and networking event, and then we went to dinner at a great place downtown Sarasota. and came home, and I'm on the Zoom with you guys. So we celebrated our 20-year anniversary back in May in Italy. So he's like, but May, it's October. Yeah, that was plenty of wine back then. That's good enough for me. I'm good to go. I think I drank more wine in 10 days than I probably drank in 10 years. So it was all good. It was all good. And so another disclaimer is, I'm going to be honest. I'm always honest, but just take it with a grain of salt, okay? Don't say anything ever to offend anybody, but I'm also just going to roll with what I say, okay? I promise I'll be careful not drop F-bombs or anything like that. I don't want to offend anybody in that way, shape, or form at this point in time right now. Not that I ever feel like I offend anybody when I drop an F-bomb, but I'm just going to, keep it real with you guys and love on you and enjoy this experience. I like it to be interactive. Now, obviously with, what do we have now? 20 people on here. You guys can't all be talking at one time. So how this is going to roll is thanks for the happy anniversary. If you have questions while I'm sharing the parts that I highlighted and that I want to talk to you guys about, put them in the chat. I've got the chat up over here on the side, and I'll be glancing back and forth at it, and I can answer questions. And then at the end, I always give a little bit of time at the end to answer questions. If you want to verbally speak, I'll unmute. You can mute yourself if you don't. And if you want to have a verbal conversation back and forth, we can do that at the end as well too. Okay, so just give me like a whoop, whoop, yeah, like, oh my God, yeah, I underlined that part too, or that made so much sense, or hey, can you clarify this? Or what did you mean by that? Or I don't understand what he means by this. This book was written in 1910. So the writing style is very different from today's writing style. And a lot of the books that I really love, they're written in the early 1900s, late 1800s, which sounds crazy, right? But the stuff that I read is not new agey, metaphysical, woo-woo, crazy stuff. I want the stuff that goes back to give me the deets, right? Give me all the facts. Tell me exactly how to do it. Don't give me the fluff. I don't need fluff. I want it straight, black and white, bold in my face. Here's what to do. Here's how to do it. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share with you guys how this book came to be for me and how we are where we are right now with it again. So back when I started in network marketing, I was a school teacher for 10 years. And I had Taylor and Trey. They were 1 and 3. And I wanted to be home with my kids. And so my sister-in-laws, they're actually coming down here on Friday, they introduced me to a company called Arbonne. So you'll hear me reference Arbonne a lot, okay? And those of you guys that know me, that was my first network marketing company that I got into. And that's how I was able to replace my teacher's income and be able to be a stay-at-home, work-from-home mom. Back then, we didn't work from home because we didn't have phones that did this stuff. We had emails on a computer, and then we went out and we met with people in their homes or in coffee shops, right? We didn't get to have the luxury of all these apps and gigabytes and Mophis and all the Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook stuff that we do now. This was, like I said, this was 2005. So, almost 14 years ago is when I got started. And so anyways, you guys, I was a teacher working full time. I had a master's degree and I was making in a whopping $1,800 a month. That was after taxes. And I was like, this is not going to cut it. So I was coaching. I was doing private tutoring at home, which paid me $20 an hour, which back then was fabulous. Paid for my cleaning lady because there was no way I was going to clean a house. And so that was from 25 years ago. I haven't been cleaning a house. I've always had a second job or any other job to make that extra money to have somebody pay my house, clean my house. So that summer when I got introduced to Arbonne, the company said, hey, here's the product line. They had about 400 products. Wipe out everything that you're currently using in the realm of personal care and nutrition, whether it's your shampoo, your skincare, your protein, whatever, all of this, wipe it out and buy all of our products. And then that's how you're going to learn this business, is by using the products. And then we want you to read these books. And here are the trainings that are coming up that we're going to have you attend. So that's how I got started in network marketing, okay, which was such a godsend. And one of the books they told me to read right off the bat, and I'm going to share this with you because I really feel like it's one that you should read because we are in the wellness industry. And this book is called The Wellness Revolution. So you can write that down, Wellness Revolution. It's by Paul Zane Pilzer. And if somebody wants to type it in the comment section chat, you can. But The Wellness Revolution by Paul Zane Pilzer. Britt and I were actually just talking about the farmers and dairy and food and all this stuff on the way home. And I brought up that book again. I'm like, I know I read this stuff almost 15 years ago. The Wellness Revolution talks all about it. So it's a fabulous book, and I highly recommend it. And then the next thing they told us to do was to get this book called The Science of Getting Rich. And back then, you didn't actually buy this book. Or if you did, we didn't have Amazon that delivered same-day delivery to your door. So you actually would download things and print it off. Kind of like that email thing that we did all the time back then. So this is my first copy of The Science of Getting Rich. And if you can see close, it's very stained. And if you look through the pages, I'll just flip through some of these. You can see I have written on it. I've highlighted it. Oh, wow, I wrote a lot. Oh, my God, I need to go back and reread that. I don't even know I wrote that part. Okay, you can see what I've done to this book. Over and over and over and over and over again. I have read this so many times, because this book says, read this book, read this book, read this book, read this book over and over and over again until you get rich. So let me tell you why I can tell you, and this is going to talk about this in this book, that this is scientific fact. If you do what this book says, you're going to get rich. So I started that school year that I was teaching. Trey was not quite 1, maybe 9 months old, and Taylor was almost 3. And so I was working full-time. I was working my Arbonne business full-time in the evenings and on the weekends. My goal, I told my husband, I said, Brent, I said, I want to do this, and I'm going to replace my teacher salary. And he's like, I don't care, whatever you want to do, right? Whatever, go replace your teacher salary. And 2 months later, I had replaced my income. In 2 months. My first check was $8.75. So that was nothing to write home about. We didn't have Rab Cash or Keto Cash back then. You got a straight commission check, and I made a whopping 4% commission off of the people that came in that month. 4% was their payout. Whoa, and you're thinking, oh my God, yeah, that's crazy, right? That's insane. We start at 15%. Our compensation plan blows them all out of the water, you guys, if you only knew. So that second month, though, I replaced my income. And you're like, how can that happen just in a matter of a couple months? Like I said, I was working my teaching job full time, and I left every single night, and I worked this business, and I'd come home. Sometimes I'd put my kids to bed. Sometimes I wouldn't. Most nights I wouldn't. And then I would stay up, and I'd email, and I'd follow up with my customers and all this and team stuff and charts. And they weren't charts like ours. But anyways, all that stuff. By December, okay, school starts in August. By December, I was making $8,000 a month. I wanted to quit teaching. Brent's like, no, you're not going to quit teaching. We don't even know what network marketing is. We don't really even understand this. We hadn't been to a conference. There were no calls, nothing like that. I'm just talking to people about replacing the products they were currently using, whether it was their mascara or eyeliner or skincare or whatever, right? And I'm reading this book over and over and over and over again. That's all I'm doing. I'm reading, I'm underlining, I'm highlighting, I'm making notes, I'm circling, I'm starring over again. Okay? Every night, I'm reading something from this book every single night. I want to quit teaching. Nope. Finish out the school year. You owe it to these kids. All right, fine. Here we go. January through May. Oh my God, that was fun. So I'm teaching. I start having people come to the school during my planning period and my lunch period, sit down in the student's desk in my classroom and have 1-to-1s with them. So I could fit in more people in more time. And obviously I've got a team. They're growing. We're building. We went to our first conference. Jack Canfield spoke at our first conference. Freaking incredible. Write down Success Principles. That's an incredible book if you have not read that yet or listened to that audio. Jack Canfield. He wrote the Chicken Soup for the Soul. You all have heard of Chicken Soup for the Soul books, right? Jack Canfield is the co-author of that. Mark Victor Hansen is the other author. So anyway, I finished school teaching. This is why I'm telling you this works. I finished teaching in May. I am making $15,000 a month. Now, I'm working full-time. I'm doing my Arbonne business full-time. I got a 1 and a 3-year-old. I don't even remember those 9 months. I remember nothing with my children during that 9 months. I don't remember Christmas. I don't remember either one of their birthdays that were that winter either. All I remember is the day after I quit teaching, that school year ended, and I let my principal know I'm not coming back. my husband was like, oh, there's no way in hell you're going back. You're worth way more outside of that classroom than you ever will be in. Oh my God. So I had got into serious activity. Obviously, he was helping take care of the kids, of course. So, we had a sitter, a college girl that was helping out as well too. Taylor was in preschool, blah, blah, blah. And the day after I quit teaching, we're outside. We had a little playground out back in our backyard. I was pushing Trey in the swing. He was like 1.5. Taylor stands there and she looks up at me and she says, Mommy, you get to be home with us now because of Arbonne. My 3.5-year-old knew at that moment that all that 9 months that Mommy was gone. Mommy was all over the place. And sometimes she would go with me. When I'd go out of town, I'd do a 2 or 3 hour trip out of town, go teach and train people and come back late at night. She'd go with me. I'd pack her backpack and she'd go there and do all her thing and then she'd sleep on the way home. So she went with me quite a bit, but she knew that all that hard work just paid off. Okay? And so this book is how I can tell you. So when I'm talking about this book, I'm speaking from so much experience because I followed this. Okay, so but you guys, my first year in network marketing, I made $250,000. How the hell does that happen? You reprogram your mind while you're in so much serious action, your head's spinning. It's crazy. You're busy, right? But you're going to be busy filling your mind with something anyways. Is it going to be TV? Is it going to be drama? Is it going to be chaos? Is it going to be negativity in your life, friends, family, insanity? Or is it going to be crazy busyness on you building your goals and dreams? And for me, that was obviously, I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted freedom and flexibility. I wanted to work. I wanted an income. I wanted travel. I wanted to have options and choices. And I did not want any constrictions. And reading this book and getting into serious activity, which you're going to hear him talk about, is what produced that. Over the years, I have bought other copies of the book. I don't know why. Here's one copy of it. Here's another copy of it. Last summer, we took Trey to New York. We read these 3 as my 12-year-old on the airplane. What do you read on the way to New York and on the way back? You read The Science of Getting Rich, first book, Acres of Diamond, and As a Man Thinketh. That's what my 12-year-old and I read together on the way to and from New York. Still starring things, underlining. I let him pick what he wanted to, but that's what, and he's been reading my book since he was in 4th grade. But I'm like, you need to read The Science of Getting Rich. It's ready. We need to get ready for this because, YouTube is a big thing here and you could be a millionaire like tomorrow on there. So anyways, fast forward to today. I have read this book every year, at least once or twice a year, listened to the audio. And when it popped into my head back in July, I thought, I've got to do this. And last month, I was in the middle of my second round of this, right? Because it takes 5 weeks to get through it. So I was in my second round and I went to lunch with Pam Souter, and you guys all know Pam Souter, right? Her daughter Kay, and then Carla Burns, who's another top income earner in the company. We all went to lunch, just a girls' lunch on a Friday afternoon. And something got brought up and I don't even know what. And I said, yeah, I'm doing this book club, The Science of Getting Rich. I'm doing it for the second time. It's awesome. And she said, you're reading The Science of Getting Rich? I think I saw that on your post. And I said, yeah, I did. I'm doing it for the second time. I told her how it popped in my head and how I'd read it since I got started in Arbonne. And obviously I have made, I think year to date is right at $3 million with It Works. It works. Kind of works. So, and I'm not saying any of this to brag or to sound like I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm telling you it so you understand that I'm not saying this from a place of, well, I read this book and I think this is what happens. I'm telling you this because I've read this book. I've practiced these things. I've done these things. I've implemented these things day after day, month after month, year after year, and it's paid off big time. And not just in financial freedom, because those you guys, know me, you know where my life is, and those of you that don't know me yet, you will. It's paid off in more ways than I can even begin to imagine. But Pam said to me that day, she said, Stacy, when I got into Excel, which was her first network marketing company about 25 years ago, she said there were 2 ladies in my upline. And back then there was no Zoom or social media wasn't even a word. She said we got on a phone call once a week And the two ladies in my upline went over a section of this book every single week, week after week, month after month, year after year. They were in the top income earners, top 10 income earners in that company. She said they never stopped. And she said to me, I suggest to you that you do this book club and you do it week after week, month after month, and you never stop. Because this is a missing piece right now that our company needs. And I said, I totally agree with you because I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. She sends me a message yesterday morning, a private message on Facebook, and she said, hey, I saw your post. You're doing another round. You guys ready for this? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kelsey. A bag of chips. Oh, you're so sweet. So Pam Souter, okay, who is one of my dearest friends, she sends me this message and she says, hey, I saw your post. You're doing another round of Science of Getting Rich. Please let me know when I can pop on your Zoom. I would love to be a guest on your Zoom, and I would love to talk about the book and talk to the people that are doing this with you and just share my take on it, my experience, and how important this is. So please keep me in the loop. I want to be on your Zoom when you're sometime during the next 5 weeks when you're doing this. So if that doesn't say something else right there, right? There's me, and then there's Pam Souter, who makes millions a month, right? So that's just another just to give more credibility to the things that I'm saying, the things that you're reading, because it looks like it's a thin book. Oh, I can whip this baby out in 2 seconds, which you can zip through it pretty quick, right? But we're going to go deep in it because I really want to help you rewire and reprogram your brain. And so, with that being said, we're all born the same and equal. No one is born better or worse than anybody else. No one's born good or bad. We're all born, right? But we also are all born to parents. And they're just doing the best they can with the information that they have. And so that lends it to, we all have different upbringings, right? We all have different beliefs because of what our parents were taught and what they believe to be true, or maybe not what they believe to be true, but maybe they just didn't know any better, or maybe they just weren't nice, or maybe they were super nice. I don't know. But you have parents, you have family members, you have teachers that influenced you, you have friends or kids at school that influenced you when you were little, and all the words that went into your mind were taken on as truth. And so as we dive through this book, you're going to find that there's things that are going to really challenge your beliefs. And you're going to be like, that doesn't make sense to me. That I've never heard that before. My church doesn't say that. Or my parents don't believe that. We weren't raised that way. And I want to ask you to be open. Be open to new thoughts or new ideas or new suggestions, right? The things that I'm saying, be open to hearing things in a new light or to experiencing, or just to say, hey, you know what? This doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand this, but I'm going to be open and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to keep listening. It's great if you get this on Audible and just let it play. Let those chapters play over and over and over again. I do that a lot in the car. Like if this is chapters 1 through 3, I'll just listen to chapters 1 through 3 over and over and over again, just to hear it. Sorry, I've been talking a lot today, so I've got this little tickle in my throat. But anyways, you guys, just be open and be okay with the fact that things are going to challenge you a little bit, and that's part of growth. Your brain is designed to keep you alive. Oh my God, something's panicking, like I'm freaking out, a saber-toothed tiger, right? Where there's no saber-toothed tiger. Now we're freaking out when we look at our checkbook. So your brain's causing you to freak out a lot, right? There's a lot of stuff coming in from media and all of the directions. So let's just take this time to come together and really get centered and focused and say, you know what? I'm open for change. I'm open for new things. I'm open for new suggestions, and I'm willing to be open to changing some of my beliefs that at the end of the day, and you're going to hear this in this book, if you're not rich, if you're not living an abundant life, which is what God has designed for all of us, then you're living some lies, some things that aren't true that maybe you thought were true. So you may look at some of your beliefs and some of the things you thought were true and say, you know what? That doesn't serve me anymore. And if it worked for her, why couldn't it work for me too? If it worked for Pam Souter, why couldn't it work for me? If it worked for Stacy and Brent Holweger, why couldn't it work for me? And it can if you work it, okay? Last thing, we're going to go. You're going to see me wear glasses because I can't see this little bitty teeny tiny print late at night because my eyes get tired. That's what happens when you turn 24, right? You turn 24 and you have to wear these glasses. I'm 24. I am so 24, y'all. All right. You're going to learn your brain is super powerful. Your mind, not your brain. Your brain just kind of functions, right? But your mind is super powerful. So you can tell it whatever you want. And I'm telling it I'm 24. And I'm telling you what, it's working. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Yes, I am. Woo, woo. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Rachel. All right. So I'm going to read the parts that I have underlined or written about. I'm also going to make reference to different things in your business and how this relates to your business or how this relates to working with people or growing a team or having clients or customers. So as you hear me talk about some things, I'll make different references throughout too, okay? And just apologize for the water because I don't want to be coughing on this tickle in my throat. All right, so again, if you have questions, put them in the comment section. But we're going to get started with chapter 1, the right to be rich. So right off the bat, I underlined where he says, and he is, remember, Wallace Wattles, this is 1910, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successfully life unless you're rich. And for some of you, that sentence right there may just throw you through the roof. But I'm telling you, it is not possible to live a really complete and successful life. And he's going to talk about why, unless you're rich. No one can rise to his greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless he has plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, he must have many things to use, and he cannot have these things unless he has money to buy them with. A person develops in mind, soul, and body by making use of things, and society is so organized that a man must have money in order to become the possessor of things. And then therefore, I started this part, the basis of advancement must be in the science of getting rich. Think about that. If you don't have enough money to even pay your bills, do you have enough money to experience the joys in life? And I'm talking about, are you able to take your kids on a Disney trip? Are you able to go visit family member that's on the other side of the country? Are you able to take that trip that you've always wanted to Europe? Are you able to buy yourself a new pair of shoes? Right? That's what I want you to think about. Money is required to do the things that we need to do in life and the things that we want to do in life. We know that. We have to have money. It's there with oxygen. It's not a choice. We have to have it. And so the more you have, the more you can experience, the more that you can fully live. And I'll tell you this, getting rich is 100% a soul development. It is all about your heart and staying tapped in, tuned in, and connected to God. Here's the main thing here, you guys. The object of all of life is development. Development. This is called personal growth and development. It's to grow. Everything that lives has the right to all development and is capable of growing. And that's what it's super, you understand, we're here, either you're growing or dying. If you're not learning, then you're losing. So that's what this is all about. On the next page, I underlined where he said to be content with less is sinful. I love that part. Every person naturally wants to become all they're capable of becoming, right? I don't know about you guys, but I've never sat back and been like, I'm just going to be the worst version of myself. Like, I'm not even interested in becoming more. I don't care if I ever improve. I hope I'm a loser the rest of my life. Like, I don't think any of you ever say that about yourself, do you? You would never speak to your children that way, would you? No, you would never be like, look, you're not going to amount to anything. You're a loser. Just chill. Don't worry about your schoolwork. Who cares if you ever succeed in anything? You're not going to say that to your kids. No, you want them to be the best they can be, right? And so you should want that best for you. So every person naturally wants to become all they're capable of becoming. Success in life is becoming what you want to be. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom that rocks out baking cookies and folding laundry, then do it. If you feel success at that, then do it. Absolutely. You're not here to say, well, I have to compare myself to this person, or I have to be like that person, or I have to want these goals and dreams. Your success is your success. And that's the cool thing. You get to define it. I define my success. Pam sent me an audio yesterday. I listened to it. It was 45 minutes long, and it was all about creating your day. You gotta shut that door, Brent. Thanks. The dog opened the bedroom door. She's a tricky little one. So this audio was all about creating your day. What do you want your day to look like? And how that, not the first thought, not the second thought when you wake up, but the third thought is the one that's going to set the tone for that day. So I woke up this morning with my first alarm, and I'm going, okay, what's my first thought? What's my first thought? I don't know. It's an alarm. So then I woke up to the second alarm, because I always do 2 alarms 5 minutes later. Okay, what's my second thought? What's my second thought for the day? I don't know. I don't even know. I just got to get out of bed now. 2 alarms have went off. I need to get up. Those were my first 2 thoughts. So then my third thought, I'm like, okay, it's my anniversary. Brent, happy anniversary. There's my third thought for the day. Happy anniversary. Set the tone. Okay, let's go. I got to get Taylor up so I can get to the gym, right? Or no, today was BNI. I had to get ready so I can get Taylor up to get to BNI. So you have to think about that. But anyways, my day, like where I was 7 years ago in this business, a little over 7 years ago, I met Pam Souter, and she shared her story, and she talked about her ideal day. And then no one was hiring because she wanted to get up leisurely, get the kids off to school, have a cup of coffee, read from a good book. Then she wanted to go to the gym, do a little workout, go have some lunch with the girls, do a little mani-pedi, maybe a psychiatric visit if she needed it. Just joking. She always says that. Just joking. But, then go get the kids off the bus, help them with a little homework, do a little snack, have a little dinner, Dave time, and then go to bed. She goes, that's what I want my ideal day to look like, and I want to make a 6-figure income. She goes, the problem is no one's hiring. That's what happened right before she got involved with network marketing. And then she was invited to an opportunity meeting. And she sat there with her arms closed. And I sat there and I listened to that, and I went, I want that day. I want to get up. I want to get my kids up. I want to get them to school. I want to go to the gym. I want to read or listen. I listen to audios on the way to the gym. I don't read in the morning. I read in the evening. I want to listen to an audio. I want to have lunch with the girls, or like Jess and Joellen and I sat at Starbucks for 2 hours yesterday. I want that to be my day, right? I want to go get a mani-pedi. That's what I did today. Sit there and work on my phone in the chair. What better life is that, right? I want to go do that. I want to get my kids off school. I want to, blah, blah, blah. What have I created? What I wanted. And it's all about increase. It's all about becoming who you want to be. Maybe you don't want a pedicure. If you don't, you should try one. They're a lot of fun. They feel incredible. Maybe you don't want to go to the gym. You should, right? You want to take care of your body. You only get one. You want to take care of it. Maybe you don't want to get your kids off to school. Maybe you want to be a stay-at-home mom and teach your kids from home. Totally fine. Maybe you want to be a homeschool teacher. You can do that. You can do anything you want. But I challenge you, as we're reading this, to start thinking about, what do I want? My life is my choice. And I'm going to get rich, because I'm going to read this book, and I'm going to do what this crazy girl says. And I'm going to do this because I can. There's nobody stopping me but me, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to get rich. I remember as a child growing up, we weren't rich. We had money. My dad had a good job. We never starved or wanted for anything. Like, we weren't like spoiled, rotten kids. But we played baseball, softball. We never were like, oh my God, we don't have the money for that, right? We never had that issue. And if there was something my parents were like, no, we don't really have the money for that right now, then I just go to my grandmother and she'd buy it. So she'd always be like, oh, I'll float you alone, honey. I'll float you alone. And that just meant I'll buy you whatever and don't worry about it. For me, it was all about clothes. Because, I'm a girl, right? You just want clothes when you're a kid. So and then a car, stuff like that when I got older. But anyway, I remember always wanting to be rich. I always wanted to be rich. Always, always, always. I'm like, when I grow up, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be really rich. My mom and dad used to always say money didn't grow on trees. And I'm like, there are trees out there that have money on them. I know there are. Trees, paper, money. You know, back then we didn't have debit cards. And we didn't have Venmo or Cash App or PayPal or any of that messenger payment. And so that was what I wanted. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you don't. If you never have, or maybe it got squelched, now it's time to open that thought up. Do I want to be rich? Because if you don't know if you want to be rich, then God's not going to be sure if he's going to give you those opportunities to become rich. You got to decide, hey, I want to be rich. But you got to be willing to put forth the work and the effort and the action, right? You got to give him something to bless. We'll talk about that later. So the desire is praiseworthy. I love this part. The person who does not desire to live more abundantly is abnormal. Did you hear that? Abnormal. If you don't want to be rich. So if someone says, I don't want to be rich, they're just worried they're not going to get there. They just don't believe in themselves enough, or they have a fear of failure. And so they're just not going to try. And it's easier just to say, I don't want to be rich, than to say, you know what, I do want to be rich. It's going to cause me, to work a lot and to stretch myself and to change my thoughts and my beliefs. I'm willing to do it. And that's why you're on here right now, because you're willing to do it, right? So there are 3 motives for which to live. We live for the body, we live for the mind, and we live for the soul. No one is better than the other, holier than the other. All are alike, are desirable, and not one of the 3, body, mind, or soul, can live fully if the others are cut short, full of life expression. So I'm on the bottom of this page down here. See this paragraph? This is huge. Desire is possibility seeking expression or function seeking performance. I love this part. A person cannot live fully in body without good food, comfortable clothing, and warm shelter. Without freedom from excessive toil, rest and recreation are also necessary in his physical life. Think about that. You guys need food, right? You need clothing, you need shelter, you need to have some kind of rest, you need to have some kind of fun, right? One cannot live fully in the mind without books and time to read and study them. Okay? Exactly. It cannot be one thing. It has to be all 3. Without the opportunity for travel and observation, without the intellectual compassion or companionship. And then to live fully in the mind, a must have intellectual recreations, must surround himself with objects of art and beauty. Tonight, Brent and I went to dinner downtown Sarasota, a restaurant called Element. Excellent food. We come out, then we go to the car, and I look over and I see this art gallery. And it's closed, but it's all lit up, and there are white walls, and there's these beautiful paintings, and they're all of like sea life and sea creatures. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish that was open right now. I would love to go in there and just look at all those pictures. They were so pretty, just beautiful. And I never noticed that place before. And I've been down there. There's a Starbucks right by there. I've been down there a gazillion times that I'd never seen that place, but it was the way it was lit up tonight. It was just gorgeous. So surround yourself with art, with beauty, with things that you can appreciate. Back in Indiana, I went for a walk every day with my kids, the dogs, and I went down this path and this dead-end neighborhood. And I want to call it dead-end because it was out in the country. It was beautiful lakes and trees and pine trees and flowers and hummingbirds. It was gorgeous, gorgeous. You guys, we live in flipping Florida, most all of you on here. Go to the beach, right? Now the red tide is gone. Woo, woo. Hurricane Michael is past. We can head to the beach. Every week I go to the beach every single week and do an hour, 15-minute walking meditation to connect. Oh, so incredible, right? So to live fully in the soul, a person must have love. Love is denied fullest expression by poverty. Did you get that? A person's highest happiness is found in the bestowal of benefits on those he loves. Love finds its most natural and spontaneous expression in giving. Love finds its most natural and spontaneous expression in giving. You can't give if you don't have to give, right? The individual who has nothing to give cannot fill his place as a spouse, a parent, a citizen, or as a human being. It's in the use of material things that a person finds full life for his body, develops his mind, and unfolds his soul. The bottom of that paragraph, you can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself. This book is going to be about that. This journey is about you becoming the most of who you are, the best version of you. You all have it in you. Everybody does. Everybody has it in them to be the best version of themselves. No one's perfect, and no one's saying you have to be this way or you have to do this or this. But this is just saying these are laws. We're going to talk about laws. We're going to talk about the way things are. God wants everybody to live abundantly. You know, I took the Dave Ramsey, it was a 9-week course at the Bayside Church here a couple years ago, 9 Sundays in a row. It was his Financial Peace University. And he actually came to the church to speak, which is super awesome. Trey, I went to listen to him speak, and then I started my 9 weeks. And he talked about, of course, he references the Bible, right? He teaches us in church. He has his own radio station, these books, all this kind of stuff. 2,000 references to living an abundant life, to being prosperous, to having money, to being financially well. 2,000 references in the Bible. Not once does it say, I want you to be poor. I want you to live a life that is meaningless. I want you to be broke. I want you to struggle. I want you to suffer. I want you to have nothing. Nowhere in there does it say that. So if you need a biblical reference, there are 2,000 references of living an abundance life in the Bible. Okay? So I don't know where they're at. I did find, though, I was looking up poverty mentality versus prosperity mentality earlier, and I did find a site that I actually bookmarked that does have a lot of those scriptures on it. So if you're interested in it, let me know and I can send it to you. Yeah, Financial Peace University is incredible. You got to apply it, right? It's just like anything. That's why we're doing this. You got to apply it. So if you guys have any questions about chapter 1, feel free to ask them in there. We're going to move on to chapter 2. So there is a science of getting rich. Remember, I've read this book over and over and over again. There is a science. I like science. I like basic math. I love at this book later, and he talks about what is the need for geometry. Right now, my son is acing geometry, sophomore geometry as an 8th grader. What is the purpose of it? Can you add, subtract, multiply, divide? Do you know percentages for sales on the clothing racks, right? Of course, that's all we need in my world. And he even talks about this in the book. He says, what's the point of geometry? Unless you're going to be an architect, then you better know those shapes and sizes and all that kind of stuff, right? But there is a science to it, and it's not studying plants or cells or organisms. So we're going to talk about this science, a mathematical equation to get rich, to make money. He says, like algebra and arithmetic, there are certain laws that govern the process of acquiring riches. Just like gravity, you guys, it's a law. Like, it's not an option. It's not up for debate. If you jump off of a building, you're going to die. You're going down, right? So there are laws all over our universe for all different kinds of things. And so that's what we're going to talk about starting in this chapter, okay? Anyone, that person will get rich by mathematical certainty. Anyone, if you follow these laws. Ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things a certain way. Underline, star, circle, whatever you need to, the word certain way. He talks about certain way a lot in here, okay? Those who do things in a certain way, whether on purpose or accidentally, we're going to do them on purpose, right? Get rich. With all those who do not do things in a certain way, no matter how hard they work or how able they are, they remain poor, because it's a natural law that like causes always produces like effects. And therefore, any man or woman who learns to do things in a certain way will infallibly get rich. The statement is true, and it is shown by the following facts. Getting rich is not a matter of environment, for if it were, all the people in certain neighborhoods would become wealthy, right? How about that? Does that make sense to you guys? If getting rich were all about environment, then everybody in Florida would be rich. We're living in Florida. There are rich people here, right? Shouldn't everybody be rich? Or let's even look at our It Works business. Because one person got rich in It Works, shouldn't everybody be rich that's in It Works? Because it's the environment, right? No, it's not. Okay? So, it's not your environment, because you can have your next door neighbor can be broke as a joke and you can be rich as can be. On the next page, I underlined where he said, everywhere we see rich and poor people living side by side. You would think that I read that before I just said what I just said. That's the way this works. I'm just randomly saying stuff, and then I'm like, oh, there it is in the book. Okay, that next paragraph. When two people are in the same locality and the same business and one gets rich while the other remains poor, it shows that getting rich is not primarily a matter of environment. Now, of course, some environments are more favorable. We're not going to go into Antarctica and sell oceanfront property. It's not happening, right? Okay? But getting rich is a result of doing things a certain way. So if I'm in It Works and I can be a millionaire, then you're in It Works, you can be a millionaire. Okay? So it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. If I can do it, you can do it. The time frame's up to you, of course. So it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter who your upline is. It doesn't matter anything. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay? That's the It Works environment that we're in if we do things a certain way. Okay? And further, the ability to do things a certain way is not due solely to possession of talent. Think about people that have a lot of talent. Who do you know that's an excellent singer, but they're poor? Who do you know that's great at basketball, but they're poor? Who do you know that is the best at whatever they do? Like, they're so talented. Oh my God, she's so good at this, or he's so good at that, but they're poor. They haven't used that talent to become rich. Do you guys know people like that? I do. Yeah, okay. So it's not your talent. You guys can learn this business. I was a school teacher. Like, I was a B student at best in high school. It was all about the social thing for me. It was definitely not about the education. And I say that now as my son's already left the room, because I don't want to tell him that, because he prides himself. He likes his straight A's, which is great. That's wonderful. Awesome. But for me, I was not your stellar star valedictorian. For me, when I got into college and it became about self-education, I started learning about things I liked, that I was interested in, that I was passionate about. That's when I caught fire to learning. I don't even know how I became a reading teacher. I only read one book as a child, and it was Dear God, It's Me, Margaret. You all remember the book about getting your period? Girls, do you remember that book? That was the only book I read in 5th grade. Dear God, Are You There? It's Me, Margaret. I think that's what it was called. Yes, remember that book about getting your period? Yes, read that book. Only book I ever read. They didn't have 50 Shades of Grey back then. I still haven't read those books either. But I read that book as a kid. That was the only book that I read, you guys, until I was in college. I was not a reader. Then I decided to become a reading teacher. Like, who does that? I fell in love with books, children's books, and I bought them by the tens of thousands. We had a school corporation with 20 elementary schools, 10 middles, and 5 high schools. And out of the entire school corporation, my classroom had the largest classroom library of books. The largest in the entire school corporation. And I bought and paid for all of them myself. I had a tiny problem with books. I love them, and I wanted my students to have every single book, and who had time to write a grant and wait for approval for somebody else? I would just go out and buy a set, or I'd buy 10, 20 different kinds of books, whatever. So whatever I could do to get these kids. I taught inner city middle school. And so, like, survival was their number one thing, to live, because people were trying to kill them or drug them, or they were sleeping on the streets already, or I had a kid that got shot by his dad. Who shoots your own kid? It's where I lived, or not where I lived. It's where I taught. It's where they live. Caution tape every morning. You'd drive around that stuff. You'd see dead bodies on the road. It was bad situation there. And I lived 30 minutes away, and it was like green pastures and farms and beautifulness. It was crazy. But anyways, you guys, point back to what I'm saying is I fell in love with books, and I fell in love with reading. Okay? So you don't have to be talented. You have to have a passion. You don't have to be a salesperson. You have to be passionate. People buy your excitement. You don't have to be there yet. You don't have to be the millionaire yet. You have to be fired up about the thought of it. You have to know I'm going, come with me, and you're a magnet and you draw people to you, right? Oh my God. Can you believe that? How do I do this? I seriously, look at this. I wrote my GPA and I circled average. That was the next line. Swear to God, I didn't even look at that. I am like reading subconsciously ahead what I had already written. That's so funny. Maybe not you guys, but I'm cracking up at myself. I'm having a good time over here by myself. Maybe you're having a good time over there too. All right. So things happen in a certain way. right? Getting rich is not the result of saving or thrift. This past weekend, I went to Tampa with a girl on my team, Lisa Karat, and she and I went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive. And the last day, we had a little exercise. Are you a saver? Are you a spender? Are you an avoider? Or are you a spiritual monk? We'll talk about those spiritual monks in this book too. I'm probably one of the most spiritual people you'll ever meet. But trust me, I do not believe that I'm supposed to be poor and humble. That is a bunch of BS. But I am a spender. I already knew that about myself. But he talked about the savers. And he talked about it's good to save, but you've got to have that balance. You need to spend too. Now, spenders, you need to have that balance and save too. Yeah, I'm working on that too. I got that down. We got stuff in buckets, whatever. It's all good. But he talked about if you hoard all of your money, that's not living a rich life, right? Your life is meant to save and prepare, obviously, invest, do the things that you can to prepare for your future, but you don't want to hoard it all. You want to be able to, because we live fully when we're giving, right? When we're contributing to others, when we're making a difference in our lives and other people's lives. So that was pretty cool too. So he talks about free spenders often get rich. Brent, did you hear that? That's a fact. Check. He's a free spender too. He's a little tighter than I am, but not much. My items just tend to be smaller, like clothes and shoes and purses and stuff and jewelry, and his tend to be bigger, like, jet skis and trucks and buildings and cars and land. I circled, or I arrowed at the top up here where it says nor is getting rich due to things which others fail to do. For two people in the same business often do almost the exact same thing. One gets rich while the other remains poor or becomes bankrupt. And it works. We all do the same thing. We all do the exact same thing. So why is some people make a lot of money and some people don't? Doing things in a certain way, your beliefs, right? Okay, so getting rich is a result of doing things a certain way. Okay, this is getting weird. It's getting really weird. That I just said when I was just getting ready to read that I underlined. It's getting weird. Okay, there's an exact science. Talented people get rich. Blockheads get rich. Intellectually brilliant people get rich. And very stupid people get rich. Physically strong people get rich. And weak and sickly people get rich. So, to some degree, the ability to think and understand is, of course, essential. But insofar as natural ability is concerned, any man or woman who has sense enough to read and understand these words can certainly get rich. And I start at the bottom where he said getting rich involves the necessity of dealing with people, and of being where they are to deal with. And if these people are inclined to deal with you in a way that they want to deal, so much better, blah, 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 right? So we're dealing with people wherever we're at. If it's at a networking event like I was this morning at BNI or this afternoon, if it's on my phone, if it's like I did Taste of Sarasota last week, if it's at a vendor event, wherever people are. You don't have to be in front of them. You can be through social media, but that's how you're going to do this, dealing with people, right? If anybody else in your town can get rich, so can you. Again, it is not a matter of choosing some particular business or profession. People get rich in every business and every profession. Whether it's next door neighbors remain in poverty or not, it is true that you will do best in a business you like and which is congenial to you. People tell me, I had somebody message me this morning, a guy that I went to high school with, and he's a couple years older than I am, and he's messaged me on and off about doing burpees. He's wanting to lose some weight and, different things like that. And he said, you go live and you just have this passion. You're so excited about what you're talking about, and you're talking about this food, or you're doing this exercise, or you're sharing your products, and you just got this like passion about you. And I said, I'm fired up about what I do. If you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life. I don't feel like I'm working. Like, no one has to twist my arm to go live, or to have me talk about the products, or to meet with people, or to respond to messages. I enjoy it. When I go to the gym, people always talk keto. I had one of the trainers pull me off the treadmill yesterday, and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you about nutrition. And I'm like, what? You're a triathlete. What do you want to talk to me about nutrition for? So I wait till after class. I'm like, what's up? He's like, hey, I know you do keto, and my wife and I want to do a little bit more. And do you think you could share maybe some of your food ideas and stuff? I got breakfast and lunch down, but I really need some snacks and dinner options. And I know that you're, really into it and doing well with it. And we're friends on Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm happy to. I said, my book will be out in a couple months. He's like, you got a book? A what? A book? I go, yeah, it's called Clean Keto. It's coming out in a couple months. And he's like, could I get a little information from it? Like, could you share some of your recipes? I'm like, I got a 14-day meal plan. I got 7 fat bombs. I got whole snack appetizer section. I'll send it to you. Not a problem. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, sure. Of course. I'm happy to help you guys in any way. I love what I do. Why would I not? He's like, wow, okay, cool. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking, okay, cool. You're a freaking triathlete. You just asked me questions about nutrition. I'm fired up about that. But I love what I do. I didn't have to walk up to him and try to sell him. I have never said a word to him about my products, or about my business, about It Works at all. I mean, he knows I'm with It Works, of course. It's on the back of my flipping car, and I'm there 6 days a week. But he's the one that approached me. I've been going there 2.5 years, and he approached me now. Right? So love what you do. And know that there's an abundance of people everywhere. And the right ones will come to you when they want to, right? They'll come to you when the time's right for them. You don't have to push people. All right, so I love this part too. Talking about exercising your talents, right? So an ice cream parlor obviously is going to be better in a warm climate where, fishing would be better in Florida. Can you believe it said that in the book? Aside from these general limitations, getting rich is not dependent upon the engagement in some particular business, but upon you learning to do things in a certain way. No one is prevented from getting rich by lack of capital. If this business doesn't say it, I don't know what does. You guys, it's $99 to get started. Sometimes, we just had the $50 special, the $20 special earlier this year, which is crazy. Met a girl at Taste of Sarasota last week. She promotes businesses. Markets businesses. She markets a lot of people in network marketing. She markets their business for them. And she asked me, she signed up as a loyal on the spot, gave me her credit card. She's like, I'll take this, and this. And she said, if I love these products, I'll be a distributor because I market for network marketing companies all the time, and I'm all about keto. And so anyway, she said, how much does it cost to get started in your business? And I said, well, it's $50 this week, but typically it's $99. And she goes, $99? I go, yeah. She goes, why? Most businesses are $400 to $800, $1,200, $2,000. The companies that I'm promoting, these people that I'm help marketing for, I've never seen anybody with a buy-in less than $400. She's like, that's unheard of. Are you sure? I'm like, 8 years in, I'm pretty darn sure. It was $299 when I got started. So you don't need capital. You need will. You need a why. Even at $400, even at $800, even at $1,200. If I said to you right now, your child is not going to make it through the end of the night unless you come up with $1,200. You'd have $1,200 in 12 seconds. 12 seconds. It would be done, right? And people are like, oh, I don't have $99. You're like, I'm sorry, could you please put your pack of cigarettes down? Could you quit smoking for a week? If you quit smoking for a week, you could have $100 to pay for your kit, right? It's called priorities. Turn off your cable. Go pawn that TV because you sure are not going to need it because millionaires don't watch TV. Unless it's Shark Tank, which we haven't watched Shark Tank in a long time because you're watching billionaires. So why wouldn't you watch billionaires to do business deals? That's the only TV I find worthy, right? Shark Tank. Well, me personally. But anyways, who am I? I haven't watched TV in years, like 15. But why would I need to? I'm out living my dreams. Why am I going to watch somebody else live theirs? I do catch some America's Got Talent. Sometimes they'll pop little clips on my Facebook, in the news feed. I'm like, oh, let me listen to this Janis Joplin girl. No, she was good. That one, yeah, that was good. I liked her. Of course, I love Janis Joplin, though, too. So I was born in the 70s, even though I'm 24. I was born in the 70s. So you don't need capital to get rich. You need heart right here. You need to do things a certain way. No matter how poor you may be, if you begin to do things in a certain way, you will get rich. And then you're going to get some capital. Then you're going to get some money rolling in your bank account. Right, Kelsey? $5,000 flipping check. Not bad. 25 years old? Single mama? Yeah. Kind of. I mean, she's got a man. Yeah. But I mean, she has a child. Yes. Yeah. 5-year-old, 25-year-old, $5,000 a month. If she can do it, you can do it, right? Exactly. How about Alana? Single mama, 2 babies, 15 grand a month? Not bad income. Bought herself a brand new house. Yeah, big time. Paid over half down in cash. Pretty impressive. So if they can do it, you can do it, right? Okay. So like causes produce like effects, and you can do so by beginning in your present business. Whatever you're doing, if you have a job already, begin in your present location. That whatever you create success, you have to create success in where you're at in order to create success where you're going. And we're going to talk more about that as the chapters move on. But it's super important that you understand that you want to be successful where you are too. I was teacher of the year. Even though I didn't want to be there anymore, I still earned the whatever we call that, I don't even remember, award of teacher of the year. So even though I was on my way out, like I'm leaving, I got to get out of here. I got to be home with my kids. I got to do my own thing. I was still doing the best that I could do in the job that I was doing while I was working my other business on the side. So if you have a job, I understand, I get it. Okay. But you still want to begin by being the best you can in your present position. You must always begin to live in harmony with the laws governing the universe. So again, any questions on chapter 2, feel free to whip those babies out down there. I'm more than happy to. If you guys have comments, anything at all, anything you want to talk about, let me know. And then we're going to move on to chapter 3. Okay, opportunity. Is opportunity monopolized? No one is kept poor because other people have monopolized the wealth. They shared this again this weekend, and I've heard this a million times. If they took all the money in the world, and dispersed it evenly, everybody would be a millionaire. Do you realize that? We have that much money in our world. People have that much money in their possession, net worth. If you split it all out, everybody would be a millionaire. But you know what would happen very shortly? All the money would be back to the wealthy people. Do you know why? Because wealthy people think a certain way. They do things a certain way. Different from what people that are poor do. Different from what people that are middle class do. That's why they're wealthy, because they think differently. They do things differently. And if they can think that way and they can do things that way, then so can you. Right? You're no different. They're no better than you are. I'm no better than you are. Alana's no better than you are. Kelsey's no better than you are. They're thinking and doing things a certain way. And so if they can do it, you can do it. Alana, I love seeing your sliding glass door in your background. It makes me so happy because that's a Florida home. Yeah. I love it. She has a D.R. Horton home, and so do I. I'm like, oh, I love that sliding glass in the background. That looks good, girl. Got your lights and your reflection, your tables. Doing good. All right, so no one is kept poor because other people are rich. Do you understand that? Everybody has the right to be rich, and there's enough money for you and everybody else on your team and everybody else on your neighborhood and everybody else in your city and everybody else in this flipping state and this entire country to get rich. And beyond. There's enough money for everybody. God will abundantly provide. There is an abundance of opportunity for every person who will go with the tide instead of trying to swim against it. 2 weekends ago, I went to an Abraham workshop, and that event was as very much more a spiritual-based event. But again, dealing with the laws of the universe, and she always says, let go of the oars. Quit going upstream. Quit paddling upstream. Let go of the oars and go with the flow. Okay, and what she means by that is quit trying to fight stuff. Quit trying to resist stuff. You've got negative beliefs and programs. You've got things popping in your head, and you're like engaging in drama, engaging in chaos, surrounding, maybe your news feed's crazy. Maybe you've got a lot of politics or a lot of drama or a lot of people that are complaining all the time, or maybe you've got the news playing in the background. Like, let go of that stuff. Let go of the drama and go with the flow. What kind of flow do you want to go with? Do you want to go with the news, crazy drama flow? Or do you want to go with the money flow? Do you want to go where people are achieving success? Do you want to go where people are speaking life into you? Where people are believing in you? Do you want to be surrounded by like-minded people that say, you can do this? And that's what you have your hands on. You have your hands on an opportunity to do that. We're going to spend the next 5 weeks together, and then I'm going to do this again. And you can do it again with me, and you can do it again and again and again and again. There's no limit. You're going to keep doing these things until you start believing. And we're going to talk about confidence, and all this is going to be covered in the book too. That's why we're going to spend, a good amount of time on it. The Zooms are going to be about an hour, hour and a half, just depending. This one's a little bit longer because of the intro. But the law of wealth is the same for them as it is for you. There's no difference. You have a right to be wealthy just like everybody else does. Okay? There is more than enough for all. Everything you see on earth is made from one original substance, out of which all things proceed. I want you guys to understand this part right here. Okay? We're talking about God. We're talking about the omnipotent, omnipresent substance source that you can't see. Like, you don't get to see God sitting over there in the chair in the corner, right? Like, it doesn't work that way. So it's known that there is the universe. God created the universe. God created all things. He created the book. He created you. He created me, right? But he's also in all of us. So we have that. I read this. I'm going to read this to you correctly. I was texting Pam back after I listened to that audio yesterday, and this was probably the sentence that stuck out the most to me. This is when she shared the audio with me, how to create your perfect day, right? In the audio, it says, the greatest gift we can give God is to live like one. The greatest gift we can give God is to live like God, to live like a God, to live like one. That's the greatest gift we can give God, is to live like a God. God is in every single one of us. Like, there's no way that's not possible, because he created everything. What does it say? In his image and likeness. I don't remember that scripture. But anyways, I've heard it enough to know that's what people that reference the Bible reference that scripture, that God is in every single one of us. So we have those God-given powers inside of us. It's tapping into that and knowing it's everywhere, okay? All around us. Here's the important part, the bottom of this page. The spaces in, through, and between the forms of the visible universe are permeated and filled with the original substance, with the formless stuff, with the raw materials of all things. Right now I'm sitting in a room, and there's space. Like, there's air, there's this, here I am, and then there's the table, and there's the bed, but there's like this formless substance. Are you with me? There's this stuff here. That's the God presence, the essence. Are you with me on this, you guys? Some of you maybe, maybe not. It's okay. You'll get it. But this invisible substance is what permeates and fills the universe, this formless stuff. So it's like if I'm sitting here and I'm going to say a prayer for somebody. Does that prayer stop at the wall? No. Does it stop at the bathroom door? If I say, I pray that Mia is healthy tomorrow and feels good and doesn't throw up anymore. That's my prayer, that she's healthy. She doesn't throw up. She feels good. I pray that Brooklyn's toe heals and she's able to dance again. Do those prayers stop at my bathroom door or at my kitchen sink or at my garage door? No. They go out into the ethers. They go out into this formless substance, right? And they help people. They benefit people. And this formless substance, this substance of air, basically, right, that we can't see is what we're dealing with, that God presence that's all around us. Infinite possibilities exist here. If I can say a prayer for someone across the world and it impacts them in a positive way, what possibility does that give for you? To say a prayer for yourself, to say a blessing for yourself that's going to impact you. It's the same thing. Your thoughts, whether you say them out loud or not, are going out into these spaces, this formless substance, this space all around us that goes beyond the walls. It goes beyond the city. It goes beyond the state. It's a fact. You guys could do research on that. It is cool as you know what. to dive down the research hole of they literally have taken DNA in vacuum sealed tubes, blood, okay, in vacuum sealed tubes. And they have taken that and put it on the other side of the country. And they've had it in a room completely sealed off, watching it, watching the molecules of the DNA, watching the cells and the atoms, and had people send positive prayers and thoughts toward it and watch the strands of DNA change. And they've had people send to the same blood, the same DNA, thoughts of negativity and hate and frustration and anger, and watch it crumple and change. You can watch this on YouTube. This is nothing new. Your thoughts are that powerful on the other side of the world. What do you think they're doing in here? Whoa, mind blown. Okay, we're moving on. Infinite possibilities exist. Nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of riches. The supply will never run short. Original substance is alive with creative energy. That's God. The original substance is God, and it's alive with creative energy. It's yours to tap into. It's constantly producing more forms. When the supply of building materials is exhausted, more is going to be produced. When the soil is exhausted, more is going to be produced. That's the law of the universe. It's always increasing. Okay, more will be produced from the formless substance. It responds to the needs of mankind. What are your needs? What are your wants? What are your desires? Maybe you don't want soil to grow a garden, or maybe you do, right? Exactly, with plants. Yes. When you talk nice to plants to them, exactly, they grow. And when you give them water, and when you give them sunlight, right? It's the same thing with us when we talk nice to ourselves. Have you guys ever done this? Have you ever taken a selfie of yourself and you're like, oh man, I look good. That's a good selfie. That's a good one. I got to post that one. That looks really good. And then have you ever taken a selfie of yourself and you're like, oh, that one doesn't look good at all. That doesn't even look like me. I took a picture 3 days ago and it looks completely different. What's different? The way you're observing yourself, your thoughts about yourself, your mind. Here's another one to blow your mind. Get this. So my before and after picture, the one where I'm up on stage, I was out in El Paso, Texas doing a one team, one mission. I guess it was a little over about 3.5 years ago. And a girl sent me this picture, a girl that was out there on my team at that time. And it was last year she sent me the picture, or no, it was earlier this year. Yeah, because I compared it before and after. I'm like, that doesn't even look like me. Like, I don't remember looking like that. I showed it to Brent. He's like, you've never looked like that. And I've showed it to a lot of people, and they're like, Stacey, there's no way. I mean, I've had people come up to me at the green carpet at different events, and they're like, I saw your before and after picture. You never look like that. You ready for a mind blower? This gets into quantum physics, which is my rabbit hole that I like to live down. But the observer took the picture, right? The girl that took the picture. She took the picture how she saw me. I kid you not, I have probably had hundreds of people tell me, you never look like that. I can't find another picture where I did look like that. I mean, I was big. I've lost 75 pounds, so I was big. But I've never found another picture in all my pictures I've ever taken where I look like that. But that's how she observed me. Now, if that didn't blow your mind, maybe you don't get it. Alana's still thinking about it. It's totally fine. You can chew on that one. It does make a good before photo. It's how she observed me, and that's the picture she sent me. Yeah, I know. Denise, you get it, Dr. Whitney. Yes. Okay, cool. So, y'all think about that for a while. Anyways, we're going to wrap this up with talking about the formless stuff responds to the needs of mankind. What do you want? What do you need? God responds. And he doesn't respond. We're going to talk about this in the coming chapters in the next week. He doesn't respond when you're there on, just laying in bed going, God, I want this. God, I want this. God, give me this. God, do this. Or some people say, oh, God can read my heart. He knows what's in my heart. I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to actually go do anything about it. He's just going to give it to me. And then you look at your bank statement and it's not there, right? It's that action, okay? There is an abundance, and it is yours for the taking, but we're going to work on how you're going to get it, okay? So the race as a whole is always abundantly rich. And if individuals are poor, it's because they don't follow the certain way of doing things that makes the individual rich. The formless stuff is intelligence. This is God. It's intelligent. It is the stuff which thinks. It's alive and it's always impelled towards more life. It's the natural law and inherent impulse of life to seek more life. Just like Celia just said with the plants. Thanks, Emma. Yeah, you've never seen me like that either. I know. I don't think I look like that, but that's how she saw me, right? So it's life to seek more life. Life, nature of intelligence is always to enlarge itself and to grow itself. Consciousness to seek to extend its boundaries, to find fuller expression. I wrote in the side here, quantum consciousness. If you guys, I don't know if you know what quantum physics is or not, or you've ever read it or studied it. There's a great little 90-minute movie-ish kind of documentary thing I'd love for you to watch. It's called What the Bleep. Like literally what the bleep, not what the F, but what the bleep. BLEEP. Okay, here you go. Yeah, what the bleep. If you have time over the next week to watch that, it would be fabulous. That would help you understand a little bit about what quantum physics are. When I was saying just a minute ago about infinite possibilities exist, that's the quantum field. I mean, obviously, like I said, God created science. Quantum physics is science, but it's the study of the smallest bits of anything, which are light. It's light. It's God's light. That's what's in every one of us. And every single down below the atoms is infinite abundance of light, and that's God's light that's in every one of us. It's in water. If you Google Dr. Emoto, that has he's since passed, but he did all the studies with water. The same thing I was telling you about the DNA and the cells. He would take water and freeze it, and as it was freezing, he would have people send thoughts into it. Love, peace into this water bottle, happiness into this water bottle, joy into this one, gratitude into this one, hate into this one, frustration into this one, evil into this one. And as the water would freeze, it formed different crystals. It was beautiful when it had gratitude poured into it, when it had love poured into it. It was discolored, disfigured, and disgusting when people thought hateful thoughts or fearful thoughts or negative thoughts into the water. Google that, Dr. Emoto. It's science. I'm not making it up. It's not some random woo-woo, she's doing some crazy experiment. It's science. Okay, so we're here to enlarge and to grow and expand and to know that we all are collectively in this together, right? So our consciousness, it's called quantum entanglement. Our consciousness are coming together, and we are going to be using our energies together exponentially, which will help you exponentially to grow your business, to grow your income, to grow yourself, which is kind of cool when you get a group of people doing it together. You're good, girl. No worries, Rach. Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad. Thanks for being on here with us. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Last paragraph where it says there can be no lack unless God is to contradict himself and nullify his own works. You are not kept poor by lack in the supply of riches. It's a fact that I shall demonstrate a little further on, and even the resources of the formless supply are at command of the man or woman who will act and think a certain way. So, with that being said, we're going to finish this up tonight, basically just by saying, again, if you guys have any questions, any comments, any thoughts, I will unmute it here in just a second, and you can mute yourself right away if you've got background noise. But we're going to just go through these things together and share. Again, I want you to be able to share what you want to share, anything on the right, anything you want to say in comments. If you want to message me privately, I've had a lot of people in the last 2 times privately message me and say, hey, I had a problem with this, or hey, I want more clarification on this. I want to understand this more. I'm not saying that I'm an expert by any means. I'm not, but in a way, I guess I kind of am because I've done it. I've lived it. So I guess I kind of can consider myself an expert because I've proven it to be true. It's worked, and it's worked not just for me, it's worked for other people as well too that I know. So Yes, some things are clicking different. Of course they are, because that's why every time I read it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that part, I forgot about that. Or, oh, that makes sense differently, because we're growing. And it should make sense in different ways, because you have continued to read and journal and listen to audios and grow and work on yourself. So as you do, new things become, your awareness changes, right? And you're ready for things, new things. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to unmute you. So if you have questions, you can feel free to vocalize them. And if you don't, you can feel free to mute yourself. Does anybody have anything they want to add, share, question, comment?
A quick question about, so I understand that the mission is to do things a certain way, that rich people are doing things a certain way. Now, I'm assuming that as we get further into the book, we will be taught that certain way, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
Just making sure.
Yep. So the first 3 chapters are just like laying a foundation and just kind of giving you some basic understandings of, if I can do it, you can do it. If someone in your city can do it, you can do it. If someone in your state can do it, you can do it. There is this substance that we work with, this God substance, that life is about increase and improving. So it's kind of laying the foundation, the first 3 chapters.
Okay.
And it's great to reread them. You know, give it a day or 2 and reread these 3 chapters again. And because it does, when your mind learns new things, it takes, sometimes, because shifts can happen instantly. You can immediately decide, I no longer believe that. I'm going to take this honest truth, because that will probably serve me a whole lot better than the negative programming, negative thought that I used to say. Write down the negative thought, cross it out, scribble it out, burn it, whatever you want to do, and replace it with a new thought. This one's going to serve me a whole lot better. Okay? So it's laying that foundation for these thoughts and these new thoughts to come in, these new beliefs, this new way of thinking maybe that you hadn't been doing before. And then, yes, over the coming weeks, we have 4 weeks together, more weeks, we're going to talk about the certain way, ways to do things, ways to think that will produce the results that you're looking for, right? And your rich and my rich are different. Everybody has a different idea of what rich is. Somebody be like, hey, I got some money. Do you want some money? Oh my God, yes, I want the money. I'll take the money. I'll take all the money, any of the money. And I give you $1. You're like, well, I don't want that. Wait a minute, you just said you wanted the money. Like, how much do you want? What is rich to you? Rich to you may be different rich to Glenda, right? Versus rich to Caitlin. So define what rich is to you. And I don't want to say be realistic. I want to say be crazy. Like, be bold. Be out there. Like, make statements that are like, wow, where did that come from? Who am I going to become in the process of earning that kind of income? Who do I have to grow to? What things are going to change? What do I have to let go of that no longer serves me? But then on the same token, like, who am I going to meet? Who are going to be my friends? What are we going to do together? Where are we going to go? What are we going to experience? Oh my gosh, what can I do for my kids? What can I provide for their future? What can I provide for their great grandchildren's future? Right? Because you're going to be leaving a legacy. So this is not just about paying your own bills, making your car payment. This is about, those things are not even a thought in your mind, because that's easy. That's done. That's paid for. That's the necessities of life that they don't have to worry about. What's beyond that? If all your bills, this would be something great to end with tonight. If all your bills were paid for every single month, medical bills, car payments, insurance, house payment, whatever. If all your food bills, everything was paid for every single month by your income coming in, and you didn't have to blink an eye, what would be next? What would you want next? What would you want to do? Where would you want to go? What would you want to experience? Who would you spend your time with? Who would you take out to lunch and pay for it? Who would you say, hey, girls' weekend on me? hey, Dad, let's just go fishing this weekend. I don't know. What would you do? Right? Because you've got all your bills covered, all your necessities are paid for. So what means rich to you? Because rich is not just paying the bills. No one says, I want to get rich so I can pay my electric bill. That's not rich. I mean, that sucks. We got to pay for electricity, and it's so expensive, right? That stuff should be like borderline free, shouldn't it? I mean, it's like out there. You can't even see it. But yet we pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month for something we can't even see. Right?
I know
I don't know how this light bulb's on. It is on. There are lights on in here, but I don't know how it works. But I pay $425 a month for this stuff to be on every single month.
You need to go solar, girl. If you want to go solar, I got an amazing guy.
Oh, Lord. I am a climate control girl on the inside, so it's super important that we are staying at 72 degrees. But anyways, you guys, I want you to think about that tonight over the next, coming days. And then we're going to get together next Wednesday evening, 9 o'clock. We'll try to keep it to about an hour and 5-10 minutes, something like that, because I don't have the intro part and all that kind of stuff. We're going to jump right in at 9 o'clock next Wednesday, and we'll start with chapters 4, 5, and 6. And we'll start talking about that certain way, the way we're going to do things. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next week. If you want the recording, I will send that to you as well, too. Just send me a private message. It's going to take me a hot second to catch up on this phone, but thank you guys for being on here tonight.
Thank you.
Love you all.